This is Kevin Harlan, and here with me tonight, Greg Anthony, Clark on the road for the Bulls. Well, they're certainly excited about this one, and he'll be laying it all on the line as the hardwood to do battle.
And already a chance for them to take the season series against this team. They see them 3 times, and after winning the first one, they've got to be confident that they can do it again.
But breaking down your opponent's confidence and will is even better.
A look at the San Antonio Spurs opening lineup. Parker and Green are the guard pairing.
Last season for Tony Parker, somewhat of a shift. I mean, he was solid, but injuries cost him a few games. He also had his lowest assists and points per game totals since his rookie year. But he fought through like the champion that he is.
And again, no good by Chicago. Last game for the Spurs, they picked up the W against Los Angeles.
And if you look at the numbers, guys, I mean, what jumps out at you is the balance they had offensively.
Very satisfying road win because you're right. There was tremendous balance displayed. I mean, the crowd was basically stunned at how they were able to dismantle that defense.
Here is Parker after Chicago picking up a basket just moments ago. And yes, sir, that one drops. Green's got his first points of the game.
Nice pass. He got the ball right into his teammate's shooting pocket. On time and on target.
And it's Rose penetrating. Duncan with the block.
That's now 4 misses on their first 5 attempts. Still trying to find the rhythm and flow here offensively.
With the two-handed slam. Now here's Rose. He had a 27-point outing in their last game against the Celtics in Boston. And it goes out of bounds. Last touch by Green. Shot from the inbound, and Jimmy Butler again.
From Tony Snell.
Parker with it. He had 10 points in the win against the Lakers in Los Angeles. Parker double-teamed, got a piece of it. Leonard kicks to Duncan. Spurs passing it around. 6 to shoot. And Green gets it to go.
Impressive start here. That's 5 straight makes to start the game.
Bulls trail by 7. Rose dishes to third basket of the night.
Man, he's having quite the quarter, converting at a really high percentage. And the Spurs last season became the first franchise to hire a female assistant coach. A big step, not just for the Spurs, but really for all of the NBA.
The Bulls making a switch here. Mirotic is checked in. Now here's Leonard. He had an 18-point outing in the last game against the Lakers.
Yeah, but Kevin, a lot of those points came at the line. I mean, he was aggressive to attack the D, not settling, and really did a good job of cashing in on those free throws.
And it's Gibson finishing it off.
And he just leaves the D in the dust and explodes to the basket.
You're right. Clark, maybe a momentum changer right there, huh?
It could be, Kevin. I mean, a dunk like that can sometimes get an opponent reeling.
Now here's Leonard. Very solid contribution from him as he averages over 20 points a game. They kick it out to Green. That drops, and it comes off an assist from Parker. Parker's got 5 assists in the game. Bulls trail by 8. As Greg was just talking about, the assistant that was hired was Becky Hammond, a phenomenal player for a very long time in the WNBA. And Clark, you know, you and I were talking about this before. She was a perfect candidate to become the first full-time female assistant.
Yeah, I agree with you, and it might not seem like that big a deal to some, but this was a big-time barrier breaker that the Spurs pulled off.
That drops.
They've been hot here early, dropping them in left and right.
Rolling, rolling, rolling. We'll see how long they can keep it going.
Can't be any surprise to you that Tim Duncan, folks, last year became the leading rebounder of all active players, passed up Kevin Garnett for that honorable distinction. We're talking 15,000 rebounds total over 18 seasons.
So Chicago going with an almost entirely new group. Portis, he's checked in for Gasol. Doug McDermott comes in for Taj Gibson. Morris checked in for Tony Snell. And it's Brooks in for Derrick Rose. Mirotic's shot is off. Getting back to Duncan's rebounding, he's always had the great size and wingspan and timing, and he really positions himself well for those rebounds. But what seems to separate him is his quiet toughness. He'll never back down.
Yeah, it's hard. You know, he's not a guy that's going to yell or pump his fist. He's not going to flex his muscles to the crowd. He just silently assassinates you
well said.
out on the floor.
You're right. You're so right.
And for David West last season, the thought was he might increase his production with Paul George out, but the opposite happened. West suffered his lowest scoring output in a decade, only 12 points per game on 47% shooting. Rough showing for the former All-Star.
They're really struggling defensively, giving up too many easy buckets.
A great point. Really an embarrassing performance defensively, and the coaching staff can't be happy.
Now here's McDermott. Looking at his point production, he averages almost 8 points a game. Good! Well, Greg, getting back to West, even though his scoring was down, his playmaking was up. You were talking about that. Clark, 3.5 assists a game last season, by far the highest number of his career.
Yeah, one of the very best pros I've ever been around. He's very smart. He's tough. He's all about team. And, you know, he makes things happen. Impacts winning in a lot of ways, and those assist totals indicate that.
And here is Brooks. Morris Diaw getting it to go from deep. And the officials call over the back. A little too aggressive there.
And that's his second foul already, and that's going to force him to tone down his aggression defensively.
San Antonio shooting their second and third shots at the line right here. And the first one at the line is good. And David West drops them both. Bulls trail by 14. Brooks outside. Brooks can't get that one to fall. And here is Ginobili. Against the Lakers, he was really on his game. It could go, and that's not going to go. And the San Antonio Spurs have really popularized that unselfish offensive
attack and find the open.
There's a lot to be said for knowing, Greg, who you are and what your game plan is, and there may be no other team that gets that better than the San Antonio Spurs.
And Kevin, it helps to have that core of Manu, Tony, and Timmy there as the foundation, and coaches on the floor for each new wave of players that come on board, whether it's Leonard or Splitter, Mills, Green, or any of the other role players that have come through this Spurs organization.
Welcome back, folks. We'll see if we're in store for a more tightly contested quarter as we move here into the second. And guys, we've seen a confident-looking Spurs team out there.
How good has the ball movement been here? Just absolutely terrific.
Boy, that kind of timely passing, Greg, really fun to watch.
On the court for San Antonio here in the second. Defensive-minded Green and Leonard are the wings. Aldridge out there with Duncan, and it's Parker in at the point guard position. And guys, let's get your take on the hustle stats for San Antonio.
Boy, you have to admire their intensity in the paint defensively. I mean, really contesting and even blocking shots. Definitely a factor early.
And it doesn't look like they'll be giving up on any plays tonight either. Their offensive rebounding has also been equally as impressive.
Right side, Leonard. Inside. They kick it out to Green. Puts it up from 17. Good.
2 assists, and that's been the recipe for success.
Everybody on the same page, completely in sync. Tremendous communication and awareness.
Chicago calls timeout. They couldn't put the pieces together, losing that last matchup with Boston.
And with the number of turnovers they had in that game, guys, it was going to be an uphill battle all the way.
Especially when you couple the turnovers with the soft defense they were playing. That's a losing combination.
Taj Gibson's checked in for the Bulls. Tony Snell comes in for Doug McDermott. And San Antonio calls the first timeout of the game.
And I think taking a time here to talk things over is a smart idea.
One of the things you want to do is make sure everybody is clearly on the same page with the game plan. And sometimes you need a timeout to make sure that's the case.
And there was a question of whether or not Derrick Rose would be able to get back to his former self. At times last season, you could see him back in that MVP form.
Feeds it to Butler. Makes the bucket. Now he's got 5 field goals, 5 for 8 in the game.
And, you know, he's enjoyed the kind of day you expect in terms of shooting the basketball. He can bring them right back into this game.
Leonard against Butler. Now Leonard. He's got 8. Green passes to Duncan. Out to Parker. That's good, and so Duncan with the assist. And the Spurs lead by 19.
And that's going to increase the field goal percentage even more. They have a huge edge in that category.
And that's because they've been playing smart basketball. I mean, they've been very patient offensively, and their shot selection has been superb. That's a major mental mistake. I mean, there's no other way for me to describe it. He didn't know where he was on the court. That's a basic fundamental. You have to be alert to where you are.
Outside, Green. Leonard with no one around. And again, it's San Antonio with a 3.
They're going back to the three-point shot over and over and over.
And they may have found the Achilles heel of this defense. That was their 9th straight point from beyond the arc.
And slam dunk by Butler.
Tell you what, he's not an easy guy to stop when he's got his sight on the rim.
Never has been, never will be. He is a determined finisher.
Did he just go chop there with that one-hand tomahawk slam? I love his shot selection today. He set the bar. For the rest of the team.
Outside Rose puts up a 3. Can't get it to go. Now San Antonio takes it the other way. Victory eluded them last time in Chicago when they faced the Bulls.
Yeah, in a game where offensively they were about as inconsistent as you're ever going to see them.
They needed to make a few runs, but it just never happened for them. And when you can't string things together, it's tough sledding. It's a tough way to go.
And that one's good by Butler.
We're having much more success here in the second after missing on a few chances that they had earlier. They've locked in and zoned in here now.
To the middle. Here's Aldridge. And another basket for San Antonio.
Well, there you go. I mean, if they're going to keep giving up open jumpers, they're going to keep getting burned.
Butler from outside. And the Bulls, another 3.
Great quarter for him at the offensive end, trying to will his team back in the game.
Here's Parker, kicks it to Aldridge, and out of bounds as the Bulls gain possession. Block shots, a stat that sometimes doesn't tell the whole story. Big-time shot blockers aren't always elite defenders. And then the opposite is true. Their block shot totals don't quite capture that great impact they really have defensively.
You know, and Akeem, the dream, certainly one of the greatest all-around players to have ever played the game. And endless array of offensive moves down low, no doubt. And defensively, his numbers speak for themselves. I mean, almost 4,000 career blocks, 2 Defensive Player of the Year awards, just a legendary low-post defender.
In transition, here come the Bulls, and slam dunk by Butler.
And that's how the coach would draw it up on the fast break from start to finish.
Yeah, and what a finish it was, guys. Really nicely done.
Good. Parker's got 5 points so far.
As a defender, you always have to stay on your man's hip. If you don't, that's what's going to happen.
Rose goes in to the paint. Here's Gibson. Played in with a nice touch off the glass.
The offense really coming around here in the second.
It's about rhythm, Clark. They're up above 50% now for the game, and you'll take that on any night. And defensively, there's still some work, though, they're going to have to shore up.
Some changes for Chicago. Portis, he's checked in for Tony Snell. Etuan Moore comes in for Jimmy Butler, and Brooks subbed in for Rose. Mills can't get it to fall, and he's missed the second after making his first. And now the fast break, Gibson with the ball. And that one's good. Brooks.
He always knows where his teammate's going to be, and, Kevin, that will let him put the ball where he wants it, right waiting for him.
Got that one up quick. Mills has got 5 now.
You know, maybe he's not one of the elite sharpshooters, but even still, that's not a shot that D can afford to give him.
5-second differential between the shot clock and the game clock. No good from Moore. Spurs leading by 17. Here's Mills. He picked up 15 points in their last win against the Lakers. Here's West. Oh, and the buzzer beater's good.
Nice shot.
And so a pretty lopsided.
Welcome back, folks. Ernie Johnson here along with Shaquille O'Neal and Kenny the Jet Smith. We're going to break down the first half. San Antonio did not hesitate to set the pace. Amped up and ready off the tip. And now, folks, it's just about time for the third.
Well, we're getting back to the action now. It's been a one-team show so far. We'll see if that changes here in the third.
Talk about some great numbers for Butler. He has 23 points, and he sprayed home 3 3-pointers as well.
This is really production personified from long range.
Well, we've got a moment. Let's set the floor. Brought to you by Gatorade. All fueled up for the second half. So for Chicago right now, Butler and Snell are the wingmen. Gibson is the 4 with Gasol at the 5. And it's Rose in at point.
Derrick Rose possesses a great skill set, ball handling, passing, an understanding of how to score. First rookie to ever win the All-Star Weekend Skills Challenge.
And how many extra possessions have they gotten because of that rebounding edge?
Well, it's been a bunch, and I think it's made the difference in the game. I mean, they've actually done a great job on the board.
Well, check out that assist. That's a pair of teammates that are clearly on the same page.
Getting back to Rose, it's his extraordinary handle that allows him to get anywhere on the floor. Such confidence in the way he dribbles and drives, whether it's getting up in a position to set up a teammate, take it himself. He's the one very best at controlling that ball.
That's a great point. I mean, guys like D. Rose, Chris Paul, Steph Curry, Kyrie, they all have maximized that skill. I mean, the thing that separates him and puts him in that Russell Westbrook category is the pure physical strength. When healthy, he's able to play with.
And, you know, guys, Taj Gibson now has 6 full seasons in the NBA, already 30 years old. Seems like just yesterday he was being drafted.
San Antonio calls timeout. Getting back to Gibson, he was one of the oldest college freshmen in the country at age 21, played 3 years at USC. Then he was one of the oldest players in the 2009 draft, even though he declared as a junior.
Yeah, I think the NBA is the only profession where it hurts you to have a lot of experience coming out, you know, because that's one reason why he did drop. I mean, had he been a couple years younger, with his length and athleticism, he very well could have been a top 10 pick. But I tell you what, the Bulls are happy that he wasn't.
Time called here. The Bulls decide to talk it over. And, of course, Tony Parker, so big for San Antonio in those championship runs. But word on the street was that Spurs coach Greg Popovich didn't always go easy on Tony. He really pushed him to the limit.
Yeah, you know, it started back when Tony was invited to the Spurs summer camp before the 2001 draft. One of the scouts was really physical with Tony, really gave him a hard time, and that was really the start of his maturation process in learning to deal with the NBA.
Both free throws good from Green.
And, you know, getting back to Popovich's relationship with Tony Parker, Pop made the decision to draft Parker. So he obviously saw something. But Pop's a perfectionist, and if you're going to play point guard for him, you've got to deliver consistently.
Shot goes down. Very quick possession right there. Parker's got 9 points.
Easy little jumper for him right there, guys.
There's Rose with the 3 from beyond the arc and then some.
And talking about Tony Parker, Pop's tough love with him really paid. The Finals MVP back in 07. Back at you. I mean, they immediately get those 3 points back.
Trading spray guns from long range. Trading blows from behind the arc.
Leonard against Butler. Parker kicks to Aldridge. Right wing. Out to the wing for the 3. And Parker gets it to go. The assist from Duncan. Duncan's got his 3rd assist on the night. And Rose wide open. He shoots. And they come right back with their own 3-pointer.
That's a dozen straight points coming off the triplet.
Yeah, Greg, you know, they're having free reign from beyond the arc. The defense is just not there.
Butler from outside. Offensive rebound. And Gibson kicks to Rose. That's a 2 from Butler. Connects. The jumper drops. Butler's got 25 points.
Wow, and how huge has he been today? Really just giving his team a nice lift.
Yeah, and he's kept them close enough to be within striking range. I mean, the deficit would be much larger if not for the efficiency of his play.
Really left alone that time. 15 points for Leonard.
And really, it looks like he may just try to take this thing over on his own and really build that lead up. And it's just hard to imagine the Spurs without Coach Popovich on the sidelines. He's the longest tenured coach in the NBA and has done so much for this team. Easily one of the best coaches in the history of our league.
The rebound by Gibson.
That's what we call good defense in the paint. Worth its weight in gold.
It absolutely is, and maybe even more than that. I mean, you saw it right there. Without his presence, that's an easy basket. All these open threes they're giving up have really been the driving force of this run.
And the points are starting to add up in a hurry, especially when you're giving up those looks from deep.
And Greg, you know, for Popovich being with the Spurs for so long, since 1996, Clark, he is actually the longest tenured coach in all of sports right now.
Amazing, Kevin, and he's done it through winning. I mean, the third fastest coach ever to get to 1,000 wins. You compare his numbers with any coach in any sport, and they stack up as Hall of Fame caliber.
There's Rose with the three, but they recover it. Trying his luck deep. Count it. And with that basket, he's now 9 of 15 from the floor.
And they're getting their points now almost exclusively from the triple. 4 of their last 5 makes are from beyond the arc.
And, Greg, it's hard for me to watch this. I mean, the defense practically giving them those shots.
McDermott's checked in for Tony Snell. .106 left here in the third quarter. Here's Simmons. Releases from the wing and drills it.
And just a step ahead of the D in that possession there, making the pass. Nice assist.
Fires from deep. Rose can't hit. San Antonio leading by 6. Mills dishes to West. And he caught that pass in full stride on his way to the big slam.
Taking it to the rack with power right there.
And hammering down with the two-handed slam.
Just piling on the lead with the dunk like that.
This quarter has brought out the best in them, fellas. Even though they're still trailing, he's been impossible to contain.
2-for-1 chance here.
Let's see if they use the clock to their advantage.
It's tipped. West with the steal. 8-second difference between the shot clock and the game clock. And here's Mills for 3. That's good. Mills has got 8 points. Bulls trail by 9. From deep, Rose, and the shot is good.
He is pouring it on in the second half, guys. I mean, a much better showing than he had before the break.
Here's Mills. Dishes to West. That is good.
Really, the defense is helpless to stop a layup right there. Just too much of an advantage in terms of the mismatch.
The Spurs shooting their 6th attempt at the charity stripe in the game. And the free throw, no good. And here's Rose outside, and the Bulls another 3.
And all of a sudden, that 3 puts them in striking distance, guys. He's had that shot working all night.
You bet he has. I mean, working overtime. The triple's been his bread and butter in this ball game. Nothing but butter. Sweet butter.
Well, it's been an exciting game. Plenty of offense as we head to the fourth quarter. Spurs lead by 8. And we're coming back in just a moment. Get ready for the fourth quarter of action when we return. The fourth quarter just moments away now as we welcome you back. On the floor for San Antonio starting the fourth quarter. Mills and Manu at the guards. Boris Diaw is out there with Anderson. And it's West in at the center filling out the middle. And Ginobili wide open. He shoots. And again, it's San Antonio with a 3. And an important part of every team's game, a look at the hustle stats for the Spurs.
Their high-energy defensive effort has paid off for them, guys, with more than a few steals over the course of the ball game.
They have, but you also can't overlook how well they've defended the rim, as they've challenged every shot and also gotten quite a few blocks as well.
Leonard, he's checked in for the Spurs.
Into the lineup for the Spurs. Kawhi Leonard.
To the right side. Pass to Diaw. Moore outside, and there's the call on Ginobili. LaMarcus Aldridge, he's checked in for Patty Mills. On defense, the Spurs. Earlier in the game, they held a 25-point lead.
That's 2 bombs in a row from long range.
Let's face it, the defense is a step slow. You've got to take away the airspace.
Tell you what, he can do a lot more damage to that rim than that when he wants to.
And you know, Clark, with the lead they're enjoying, I'm surprised he didn't put a little something extra on that one.
Me too.
Well, I'll tell you what, I'm glad he didn't, because otherwise we'd probably have a 45-minute delay here if he shattered the backboard.
Anderson passes to Diaw. Spurs passing it around. Knocked away. Leonard attacking from 10 feet out, and Aldridge gets it to go on the assist from Leonard. 6 points for Aldridge.
And now both teams really in a groove.
This game already, guys, was high scoring, but they've really amped and ramped it up to another level down the stretch.
All right, let's go over to the sideline with Doris Burke.
I was able to listen in on what Chicago's coach was going over with his team. His message, don't even look at the score right now. We've got to make one play at a time and execute. That's how we'll take this thing home. Kevin, he's trying to keep them focused.
Thank you, Doris. Catching up on the changes for Chicago. Bairstow, he's checked in for Portis. Tony Snell comes in for McDermott. And it's Butler in for E'Twaun Moore. Here's Leonard. Good, and Aldridge gets the assist. Aldridge has got his 3rd assist on the night.
Boy, they are passing the ball very crisply right now.
They really are, and their last 3 buckets have come by way of an assist.
Shot is good, and the Spurs lead is cut down to just 2 points with the bucket from Brooks.
Oh, wow.
That's a beautiful jam.
He is an automatic finisher when he gets into that area.
You know, he picks the simple one-handed stuff to get the 2 points.
Yeah, and in a close game, though, guys, those could be really important points.
Oh, that was a great angle we just saw, courtesy of Kia. And another basket for San Antonio.
Moving it around, 8 of their last 10 coming off assists.
And, Greg, you know nothing makes a coach happier than selflessness on the basketball court.
To tie it up. And the Bulls, another 3.
And how about the last 5 made shots have all been threes? The defense is just giving up a barrage.
Most teams get the message to cover shooters after 1 or 2 wide open looks at the three-point shot, but it seems like they have just not figured it out.
San Antonio calls timeout.
And did not seem happy about how things are going on right now, and maybe wants to make some changes.
I agree. I mean, just was not comfortable with the way things were set up at that particular time. And in that case, I think it's the right thing to do.
The Bulls making a switch here. Rose is checked in. And the pass to Duncan. Down low, Parker. And that comes off the assist by Duncan. And that's now 17 points for Tony Parker.
Well, I tell you what, I need to see some more assertiveness out of these defenders. They're not getting the job done.
That's a great point. 10 of the last 12 points they've allowed have come at the rim.
This is a fantastic performance in this half. He didn't play as well in the first, but you just know with this guy, he's always ready to turn it around.
And Leonard gets it to go.
The assist totals, Kevin, just continue to grow. They're way ahead in that category. Ball movement has been flawless.
Clearly just an example of a different mindset between these teams.
The defense is far too slow to close out on those three-point attempts.
And those triples, they sure do add up quickly, don't they? I mean, they've got to make some kind of adjustment here.
And that's how it's done. I mean, find that hole in the D and then go hard to the right.
Maybe that hole was a little bigger than it should have been.
Well, it was. I mean, a tight game like this one, you'd think they'd have a little more energy at the defensive end than that.
And he banks in the layup. Leonard's got it all tied up now for the Spurs.
And there's a pattern starting to take shape here. They're working it inside and getting good shots from close range.
Well, I agree with you. 4 of their last 5 baskets have been exactly of that variety.
And certainly they are not hesitating, letting it fly from deep here in the second half.
And, Greg, I have no problem with that. As a matter of fact, I hate to see teams get conservative with the lead. As long as they're good shots, take them, and as long as they're falling, continue to take them.
There's Bairstow. No good. And the Spurs going the other way now. 1:24 left in the game. Manu Ginobili on the wing. Aldridge a screen. And again, it's San Antonio with a 3.
And he came off that screen, and the D just didn't get over the top of him.
Yep, weren't there in time enough to challenge Greg, and when that's the case, you can mark those up for him.
Parker with the steal. And they're pushing it up. Goes up the baseline, and the Spurs scoring again.
And that set them apart today, guys. Their success with the mid-range.
Simply taking advantage of what the defense has given them, and they've really made the most of it.
Knocks down the trifecta.
there. That could be the difference maker.
Indeed, it might be a big, huge moment in this game right there.
There's 49 seconds left to play here in the fourth. Bulls moving the ball around. Snell kicks to Mirotic. Nails the triple.
Just dialed in from the three-point line in this fourth quarter.
Yeah, that's putting it mildly. I mean, that's putting a world of hurt on him with the triple.
Good. And what a sensational bucket to bring them within one.
Man, Parker can be an offensive force when he gets going like this.
From deep, Rose. Rebounded by the Spurs. Time called here. The Spurs decide to talk it over. They're losing by one. 26 seconds left in the fourth quarter. Pau Gasol is checked in for the Bulls. Gibson comes in for Mirotic.
And the three-point shot really has been their best friend here tonight.
Well, you know, his shooting has got them in a position to win this game now, and with the clock winding down and the score where it is, well, I think his green light is always on, and it's going to stay on here.
.23 seconds left in the fourth quarter. Parker against Rose. With a 3-second violation.
Chicago ball.
And no good on the technical, so unable to pick that one up. 6 seconds left to play in the final quarter. Count it! Time called here. The Spurs decide to talk it over. They trail by one. Just 2 seconds left in the fourth quarter. Guys, what do you think?
It's come down to this. One shot to win the game. They have just enough time to catch the ball, make a quick pass, and then get it airborne.
Here's Parker. Yes!
They ran that inbounds play perfectly there to get the quick hitter.
Chicago calls timeout. What's your take, guys?
They don't have enough time here to catch and shoot. Their only hope is to try to tip it in off the inbound pass. That's always a difficult shot.
And so it's San Antonio who scrape by with the win. They break the hearts of every fan in the building with a dramatic late victory.
And Kevin, this is the kind of win you have to take a ton of pride in. I mean, they battled with everything they had and came through when the pressure was at its highest.
And a chance now to send you over to Doris Burke, standing by on the sideline. Doris?
Well, Tim, in a game like tonight's, it comes down to